trace properly. Don't create any lines or don't create any pleats that was not there initially. What you're going to trace is the pleats you started with. Hi guys, welcome back again to the channel. Another episode of Round Gele tutorial with me. If this is your first time of seeing this channel, you are mostly welcome. So guys, I have a tutorial on a Round Gele. It's very understandable and easy, so sit back and enjoy the video. So right now I'm going to show you the measurement I'm using for this gele. This is a 75 inches in length, and it has 3 joinings. So the ratio I'm going to be using for this particular style is 60-40. That means one side will be longer than the other. But right now, how do I achieve the 60-40? I'm going to fold the gele into 2 equal halves. Okay, so the 2 equal halves is 50-50. When you fold your gele into 2 equal parts, you call it 50-50 ratio. But right now I need a 60-40. I'm going to add 10. I'm going to remove 10 from one of the 50 and add to one of the other 50. So I take my finger measurement as 5 inch. I'm going to place it from the middle point and then take 10 out, just 2. I took 5 2 times, then I'm going to add it to one of the hands. Okay, so right now it's giving me 40-60. I hope you guys understand how we got here. So what I'm going to do right now is, still holding my middle point, okay, I'm going to move my hands downwards. I'm going to move my hands downwards, then move the other one a little bit down, making sure that my middle point is still there. Okay, then I'm going to start pleating. So when you're making your pleats, you're going to fold an inch inside. Okay, then you're going to use your thumb to clip it, then your other fingers are inside, then the thumb is clipping it outside as I'm doing. Then you're going to be using those fingers inside to be pushing the gele outwards, then you use your thumb outside to be clipping them. So right now I'm going to make my base pleats. You can make as many pleats as you want. I think I made up to 5 here. So I'm going to go ahead right now to lay my model's edges. This step is very important, so that when you are done with the gele and you move it backward, it will look nice and neat. So I'm going to go ahead now and place the gele on her head, and I'm going to ask her to hold that part, and then I move to the other part and extend it to the back of her ear. So I'm extending the pleats right now, and make sure you pick and trace every line properly. All right, make sure you trace everything very neatly. Then you're going to move it down to the back of her ear, and I'll place her hand there. Then I'll move to the other side of the ear as well. Okay, I'll move to the other side of the ear and then extend the pleats as well. Just like I said before, extending or tracing your pleats, make sure that you trace completely. So right now I'm tracing the 4th one and the 5th one. So everything is going to be lying neatly on her head. Then we are at the back right now. At the back, her hands holding her 2 ears. Okay, so you're going to move to the back and then trace those base pleats just like you did from the front. Trace everything down to the back and use your hand to hold it as so. Okay, hold it very firmly. You trace one path, then you trace the other side. Make sure that your fingers are securing them very well. So after that, you're going to drag it slightly, and then you're going to take the shorter one. Okay, this is the 40 side and this one is the 60 side. then you're going to take the short one over above the longer one. Okay, that is the technique you always use whenever you're doing your gele. The shorter one is always sure to go on top of the longer one. So I'm going to drag this one down right now, and then I'm going to cross it over. Then after crossing it right now, I'm going to give her one of the hands to hold. Then I'm going to hold on to the shorter one. Right now I'm at the front. All right, I'm at the front. Then holding the shorter length, my 40 side. Okay, I'm going to hold that side firmly. Then I'm going to make more base pleats. Okay, I'm going to make more base pleats to add to the one that's already on our head. So sometimes I love to pick my pleating before placing on the head, and sometimes I love to pick them right there on the head. It depends on what works for you. Okay, so right now I'm picking the pleats. I think I made like 3 more, and I'm going to raise it over on top, directly on top of that base pleat that's already on our head. Then I'm going to extend it. I'm going to extend it as so, guys. So whenever you're extending or tracing your pleats, make sure that you trace properly. Make sure that you follow the lines carefully. All right, so I'm going to make sure it's very firm. Trace pleats are very firm. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hold it down to that other part, and then use a pin to secure it. Use a pin to secure it, guys. Watch and see. So that's my pin right there. I'm going to take one, and I'm going to hold it down there. So guys, how do you pin your gele? You insert the pin and make sure it comes back outside. That way it's going to be secured. Okay, when you insert your pin, make sure it comes back right out. All right, that way it's not going to unravel. Don't just put your pin directly and leave it like that. Just insert the pin and make sure it comes back out. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope it makes sense. Okay, so right now I'm holding on to the longer part now, the longer part, the 60 side of my gele. So I'm going to do the same thing, make about 3. Sometimes you can decide to just pleat everything at once before raising it up to the base. Sometimes you can just decide to pleat it directly on the head. Okay, but right now what I did was I made just 3, then I raised it up to trace. So what I'm trying to say right now is that when you are making your base pleat, as you just saw, my base pleats were not directly on top of each other. I hope that what I'm saying makes sense. Okay, so but when you want to make your final flap, when you're doing a round gele or even any style of gele that involves pleating, when you're doing your final flap, you have to make the pleating lie directly on top of each other. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm saying, guys. When you're making your final flap, when you're picking your pleats, they're going to be directly on top of each other. You don't make them as if you're making your base pleats. So right now I'm going ahead to pick the remaining parts of the gele. Okay, so I'm just going to trace everything down to the end of the material. All right, okay, so right now I'm basically done with that part. So what I'm going to do is use my left hand to secure the gele. Then I'm going to pick the first 3 pleats at the base, from where I started my flap. So I'm holding those first 3 pleats now. I'm going to extend them to the back of her head, guys. Just the first 3. Extend it to the back of the head, and then you're going to draw it slightly. then you take a little piece of material from the one that is on her head. Okay, then you're going to hold both. Then I'm going to take a pin and hold it down. I hope you can see what I'm doing, guys. It's very, very easy. Just drag slightly the first 3 pleats from the base that you made. Trace them to the back and secure it with a pin. Don't be stingy with your pin. Or make sure you use enough pin and be sure that it is firm. Okay, so after doing that, I will move to the front again and trace and continue tracing my pleats. All right, and continue tracing. Or I'm going to trace all these pleats I made from the other side down to this side. But first of all, before you do that, pick the first 3 and pin it down to the back as we just did. Okay, so I'm basically going to start tracing right now. I'm going to start tracing. When you are tracing, be careful that you trace properly. Don't create any lines or don't create any pleats that was not there initially. What you're going to trace is the pleats you started with at the left hand side. Okay, so that is what you're going to create, and don't miss any pleats at all. Don't miss any pleats at all. So I'm still tracing and tracing and tracing. So guys, as I'm tracing, I'm using my left hand, okay, to hold down the pleated side. Then I'm using the right to extend. Okay, just use your left hand to secure it on top and use your right to extend. As you extend and move down, you drag it up slightly to give it a bit of height. Okay, see what I'm doing? You drag it up a little bit to give it height. And mind you, the number of joining on your ashoke determines the height of the gele. Okay, and so this particular ashoke I'm using is just 3 joinings. Your round gele can have more height if it has more joinings. Okay, but if you want to give it a little bit of that height too, when you extend with your right hand, use your left hand to draw it up a little bit. Then you continue moving every pleat to the back. Okay, so guys, I'm still tracing. Pick every pleat completely. Don't miss anyone. Don't be in a rush. Okay, just be patient and pick every single pleat. Do not miss one. All right, so right now I'm almost at the back. I'm going to continue extending, tracing. So when I get to the back directly, what I'm going to do is use that part that you see me pick from under. I'm going to use it to wrap it, then twist outwards. Okay, then when I twist it outward, I'm going to move to the other side and then hold the tip of that twisted part, then pin it down with some materials on her head, guys. So right now I move to the front to touch up some parts. Okay, and I'm going to ask her to turn to the back again to make my final wrap with some left materials that we did not use. Okay, so you see me do that now. So this is the materials that we didn't actually use. If your model is not having any hair on, just like a hair, it's just going to form kind of a knot. Okay, just make sure that your final your finishing at the back is neat. That's just basically it. You can just decide to wrap it anyhow you want, but I like to form this knot, and I'm going to use a pin to hold it down. Okay, so I'm just basically adding some finishing touches right now, tracing some pleats, making sure they're sitting properly, and making sure that my finishing at the back is neat. Okay, So that is just it. She's at the front right now, and your round gele is ready. It's serving. So I'm just going to move it back a little bit. Don't be too hard so that you don't go and remove the gele from the head. So that's it, guys. Beautiful, right? If you have not subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button. That's all it's just going to take you. Click it so that you see more of my videos. Thank you for watching till I come your way again. Bye.